Hello, I'm very excited for today. We're going to be talking about gut health and how important that is. Really, it's so super, 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 super important. And even like the more that I do research on this topic, the more I see that the gut health and the state of our gut affects the whole body, every single part of the body. And so we're going to talk about, what is gut health? What does that actually look like? What does a functioning gut look like? And then you're going to see that probably you have one or two symptoms of a not so well functioning gut, because I did even, and what we can do to fix that essentially, and some of the science behind the new science. I call it new science because basically in the last 5 years, there's been over 12,000 papers published in medical journals that are related to gut health, the microbiome, and how our gut is responsible for the health of every part of the body. And then scientists are looking into specific parts of the body, like the gut-brain axis, which we're going to talk about, how the gut and the brain are connected. So what I'm going to do is, okay, there we go, perfect. And I am going to go into a wonderful PowerPoint presentation that I put together, and we're going to take a look at gut health. So let's see. Okay. All right. Can you see that? Ah, wonderful. There's some more people joining us. Hello, hello, welcome. Elvie, beautiful name. Welcome. We are going to dive right in here to Pachavega's Gut Health Reset webinar. There will be some moments in this talk, which will be about an hour long. It will include some time for questions, of course. And, since you're here, like, please do ask specific questions about your own personal journey so I can help you right now, today, while you have me on the call. I am really excited to just share all the things that I've learned. And then, of course, at the end of this call, I'm going to invite you to join me for the 21-day Gut Reset Challenge, which will be the second edition, which I did last year. And last year I had 100 people, and it was very, very impactful for many people. And lots of people have taken the things that they learned last year in the 21-day Gut Reset Challenge and implemented those learnings into what they're doing still today. And it's been almost a year. So because of that, I decided to do this again. And, I get emails from people once in a while saying how much that this challenge has impacted them. So, but of course, this is optional. As I offer today, I hope that you learn something about gut health in this webinar. And what I recommend is just if you want to take screenshots of the slides, so then you can save them to review later. All right, so the whole theme of this talk is the health of our gut affects the health of the whole body. And this is the place to start. The gut is the place to start. So with any healing regimen, anything that you're going to do to help your body heal what it needs to heal, okay, whether that be skin health, whether that be aches and pains, arthritis, whether that be more serious health conditions, we will start always with the gut. And I use this word gut. The gut is the GI tract, okay, the gastrointestinal tract that runs from the mouth to the bum. And people don't like to associate those things together, but they are inevitably linked through a tube called the tract, the gastrointestinal tract, or also known as the gut. The gut is usually referred to as sort of the last end of the gastrointestinal tract, which is more like the colon. You could also include like the stomach, the small intestines, and the colon. That could be the gut. But if you're resetting the gut, really what we are talking about is resetting the microbiome within your colon and small intestines. So let's take a little bit more of a view into this. Okay, so the gut plays an important role in the body, as I mentioned. So here is a nice analogy. I really like this. The gut is like a city. So it's a well-functioning city when it's healthy. The bacteria in our gut are residents of the city. Okay, so they're hanging out, they're doing they're having fun, they're happy. A healthy city requires good roads, proper safe buildings, schools, parks. Its residents are friendly to one another. They cooperate for the sake of the whole community. They have jobs that help others and they help each other. It's a two-way relationship. But the community is only as good as long as the residents help prevent and fix problems. The residents also need to be provided with the things that keep them happy, that help them want to stay in the city. So basically what I'm saying is that in order to have a healthy gut, you need to support your community, which are your intestines. You need to attract friendly residents, which is the helpful bacteria and yeast. And you need to keep those residents happy. So feed them good food and decrease stress. When all of these things happen, the healthy city, which is the healthy gut, can then support the state and the country, which is basically your healthy body and mind. So I just like that analogy a lot. So up-to-date science says that, scientists are making nutritional discoveries and new discoveries about the functions of the gut on a regular basis. And as I mentioned earlier, there's over 12,000 studies just in the last 5 years that focus on gut health, breaking it down into all types of components. And that includes the ability to break down food into digestible parts. That's just one thing that the gut does. The gut also helps absorb nutrients like vitamins, minerals, carbohydrates, protein, and fat. So just that right there alone allows me to think, okay, so how do I absorb the nutrients properly? How do I absorb the most of the nutrients? I guess whatever's absorbing the nutrients needs to be in a good state. Okay, it also helps, the gut will also absorb water, and that mostly happens in the colon at the end. The large intestine will absorb the water. It will help get rid of waste products. Of course, we know this, but also the toxins that are circulating throughout the body. The colon is one of our detox pathways. We'll talk more about that in a moment. The gut serves as a gateway for the immune system to keep out bacteria, viruses, fungi, and parasites that cause disease. And they're the gateway because a lot of the immune cells are actually located within the gut. The gut also helps our immune system learn to tell the difference between what is dangerous and what is safe. So there's intelligence there, there's awareness there. And again, we're just starting to realize how intelligent our gut and immune cells really are. The gut helps us receive signals from the brain through the nervous system. The enteric nervous system, it lines your gut walls, and it's directly linked through the vagus nerve to the brain. And this is how it receives signals, and it sends signals back to the brain through the nervous system. So directly, inexplicably linked. And as I mentioned in one of the emails that I sent recently, basically, if you have a healthy functioning gut, you should also have a healthy, stable mood. If you have a very upset, diseased, distraught gut, you might actually have sadness, depression, frustration, difficulty controlling emotions, freakouts, all these types of things. And do not blame yourself. You can blame the microbiome that's imbalanced, not imbalanced. Okay, so what exactly does it mean to have a healthy gut? People ask this question. And I just wanted to show you, because some people say, oh yeah, my sister said, no, I poop every day. But that doesn't actually mean anything. That doesn't mean that you have a healthy gut. Thank goodness. I mean, if you don't poop every day, then you actually have a problem. There's a problem there. We're going to talk about poop in a little bit too. But what does it mean to have a healthy gut? So this is asking yourself if you have any of these issues whatsoever. So a healthy gut is a state of physical and mental well-being. Again, physical and mental well-being, right? We're not thinking about the gut just as, our tummy, our digestion, like, oh, I have a tummy ache. How about, oh, I feel like crap today and I'm pissed off and all these things. Wow, maybe it's my gut that's unhealthy. It's very, very rare that we actually connect those things. And because of that disconnection, I mean, this is my personal point of view as well, is that maybe we would have better mental states if we could heal the gut, if we could connect those things. A healthy gut is also the absence of any disease affecting the gut, and also the absence of risk factors for disease. So this is huge because, again, the question, people can say, "Oh, I'm fine. I don't have any of these issues." But it's like, are you risking the disease to happen? So it's not just that you have disease. Usually when you have disease and you discover disease, you've probably had disease for 10 years. You just haven't noticed the subtle effects of this disease in the body. But it was growing that whole time, and then now you have it, and now it's a big deal because it's grown to a point where you can't ignore it. But before that happens, the body signals in many, many ways, subtly, that there is a risk factor for disease. So it's, again, tuning in to your subtle body, tuning into how you feel in your body, and then noticing that. And when you notice that, maybe that's like, okay, yeah, you're right. Like, I don't feel 100%. Maybe that's the start of a gut reset for you. So we want these things, and we want them not to affect the gut. You want no gastrointestinal symptoms whatsoever. Well, that require at least the consultation of a doctor. If you have bloating so painful that you have to consult a doctor, there's a problem, right? If you haven't pooped in 3 days, there's a problem. So this is part of the things that I want you to consider. So what is the criteria for a healthy GI system? Effective digestion and absorption of food, as I mentioned. What does this look like? Okay, well, this absorbs food, water, minerals properly. So that means that you're getting sufficient minerals, which means you shouldn't be mineral deficient if you're eating a mineral-rich diet, because you should be absorbing all the minerals from the food that you're eating. Regular bowel movements, a passage of normal stool. What does normal stool look like? We can talk about that later. There's something called the Bristol scale. It's funny, but there's, yes, a scale of what poop looks like and how healthy it is. No diarrhea, no constipation, no bloating. So, like, raise your hand if you've ever had bloating. I mean, I definitely used to have, I don't anymore, but I used to have so much bloating that it was painful, right? So this is this thing, right? Bloating is not natural, although it's a byproduct, or it's a symptom of something bigger. And there's many, many factors, right? Like, it could be a potential food allergy or sensitivity. It could be maybe you didn't chew the food well enough, so you have these big particles of food that are a little bit getting, your digestive enzymes are confused with what to do with these big pieces of food because they're so big that they don't even know where to start and how to break them down. So a lot of times people can increase their decrease the bloating by chewing. And if that is a difficult thing, because, if we eat while we're talking, if we eat while we're enjoying dinner, which how many times do we eat with people and enjoy dinner with people? Sometimes we swallow prematurely, and when we swallow prematurely, then we have big pieces of food, then we can get bloating. Again, that's not the only cause of bloating, but it could be one. And normal nutritional status, it means that all the food that you're eating, you're absorbing and utilizing the nutrition within. So you're not low in iron, despite the fact that you're eating high iron rich foods. So that's the disconnect. It's like, but I'm eating all this healthy food. How come I'm low in iron? How come I'm, vitamin B deficient? How come I'm these things? Well, it's because, like, you're doing the right thing by eating the food, but if you're not absorbing it, then there's the issue. And that's actually, clearly you can see that this is the situation. How do you find this out? Well, if you go to a naturopath or even a doctor, get a blood scan, and you see the results, and then you compare to what you're eating. If you're eating all this, like, healthy, amazing food, and you still have some nutritional deficiencies, very good chances are that the gut is compromised in some way. And again, some people have more compromised guts and some people have less. Like, I probably have a pretty healthy gut, but maybe I do have some things that were a result of things that I did 10 years ago, and not necessarily the last 10 years of my life, which has been very healthy eating. When I was a child, I'm sure I ate lots of cans of tomato soup and chips and all kinds of nasty things, for sure. and maybe that stuff's still in my body somehow. Who knows? So you want an absence of GI illness. So this is a very specific illnesses, right? No peptic acid peptic disease or acid reflux, gastro reflux disease, other gastric inflammatory diseases, no enzyme deficiencies, carbohydrate intolerances, no inflammation in the bowel, which is also IBD, also known as IBS, celiac disease or other inflammatory states, no colorectal or other gastrointestinal cancers. Obviously, these are very serious conditions. And sometimes when you get to at this point and you have this condition, the chances to come back from it is much more challenging. And also, like, for example, celiac disease is usually when the cilia is permanently damaged, and therefore it's sort of a state that's constant from now until forever. But there's great news in how you can mitigate that, and it's easier now than ever to eat like a fully gluten-free diet and eat for celiac. So if you do have celiac, or you know anyone that has suffers from very serious GI illnesses, there are ways in which to go about it. And then I talked about the bloating and the eating and the chewing. A really great tip, and this is pretty much my number one tip for anyone starting like on this journey at all, is a green smoothie. And so that's, you know, maybe a fresh fruit smoothie that includes superfoods, sprouts, dark leafy greens, the things that you might not want to chew or eat a lot of, but put them in that smoothie. You blend the smoothie, drink the smoothie. As you're drinking it, swish it around in your mouth to mix your saliva with the smoothie, and then swallow it. And that is literally one of the best things that you can do to start your gut health journey. All right, normal and stable intestinal microbiota. Okay, this we're going to talk about more in detail in a minute, which also means no bacterial overgrowth and a normal composition and vitality of the gut microbiota. Again, what is that? I'll talk about that in a minute. Effective immune status and gut barrier. Okay, this is important, right? As I mentioned, there's a lot of immune cells in the gut, and the normal levels of immunoglobulin A are affected, the normal number and activity of immune cells are affected, and even the barrier. So the gut barrier is basically the barrier between your gut and your bloodstream. Within the gut lining, there are these things called tight junctions. The tight junctions are basically they're drawn like this a lot. They're the connection between, it's basically keeping your whatever's the contents inside your gut out of your bloodstream. But obviously, in your gut, you're absorbing these minerals and nutrients. Some stuff is absorbed by the blood. But when the tight junctions are loose, too much stuff from the gut gets into the blood. It causes all kinds of problems, including many autoimmune diseases, autoimmune conditions, chronic inflammation, etc. So one of the things that a healthy microbiome does, specifically the probiotics and their postbiotics, which are short-chain fatty acids that they're creating, it will tighten the tight junctions. So what I'm saying basically is when you have a balanced microbiome, you have very low chances at getting something called leaky gut. Okay, so we'll talk more about that in a bit. Your quality of life is a normal quality of life. What does that actually mean? Because I would say that normal now is more the sick state. People aren't used to feeling amazing. They're used to actually feeling kind of blah, yeah, just like subtly. Maybe it's not enough to make you want to, like maybe it's not so severe, but you kind of just put up with it. And I think that's a very common way for people to live their lives, is in a very slight sense and a slight state of uncomfortability, but it's just little. And so it's not something that makes you do any drastic changes, because it's not that much discomfort. But basically, if you could feel better, it would change your whole life. And so that's my job, is to share what I know to help you change your life and be healthier. Okay, let's see. Next one. Okay, gut flora. What is gut flora? Can I ask a quick question? Can you see the people, or can you just see the screen? Someone say. Can you see everybody's pictures, or can you just see my screen? Paula, can you let me know? Oh, you can see both? Okay, okay. Okay, so I'm going to move this then. Perfect. Is that better? Okay, perfect. I thought I was just seeing it. Okay, what is gut flora? Gut flora are the microorganisms that live in the digestive tract. So gut flora are bacteria, archaea, fungi, and viruses. Archaea are types of bacteria that aren't bacteria, but they're called archaea. So this is just like a different category. So these four things live in and within your gut, your gastrointestinal tract. We call it flora, we call it microbiota. That's another term for this collection of bacteria, archaea, fungi, and viruses. Now, within the gut, a variety of species interact with each other, competing with each other for the same food source or different food source. But there are different ecosystems of microbiota in different locations. Again, we can compare that to a city, right? Different people live in different areas. And there are different bacteria also in different conditions. Okay, this is the most mind-blowing thing I think about the gut microbiome is you can affect your gut microbiome within 24 hours. So literally you can change your gut microbiome in 24 hours based on what you eat. Now, that doesn't mean that it's going to heal in 24 hours. It just means that the whole balance is changes. Okay. And what we're aiming for always is more good than bad. And when you have that balance, you have balanced gut health. Okay. So more good than bad. Now, increasing and decreasing the population of one species may affect many others because small alterations have massive effects on the ecosystem. So what that actually means is when you eat a variety of food, you will get a variety of species because different species eat different types of food. So I'll just give you an example. One type of species of probiotic bacteria in the gut might really love the fiber in black beans, but the other one doesn't eat the black beans, but they really like the fiber of the celery, as an example. So you need to eat a variety of food to have a variety of species. When you limit your food, you are actually decreasing the population of certain species. So again, the best thing you can do is a variety of food. And when you get a variety of food, you get the variety of species. This is super crazy. The amount of bacteria in the human body. There are 100 trillion bacteria in and on your body, 90% of which live in your large intestine. Bacterial cells outnumber human cells 10 to 1. So you're actually 90% bacteria. So some food for thought. There are over 10,000 species of bacteria in your body, 1,000 species of bacteria in your gut, and all the bacteria in your body weigh a total of 2 to 6 pounds, depending on how heavy of a person you are. So 2 to 6 pounds. So imagine, that is a lot. Now they're all like compared to human cells, they're a lot smaller. That's why there's a lot more. But the idea is that if we're that much bacteria, then we need to take care of that bacteria. We need to make sure that that bacteria is healthy bacteria and it's not the pathogenic bacteria that causes disease. So the gut microbiome, the functions are, okay, similar to what I said about the gut, but now what I'm really talking about is the actual little guys that are alive. So not the health of the whole, or not the function of the whole gut, but the function of the microbes. So they regulate immune function. I mentioned this. Prevent the growth of harmful microorganisms. So this is why it's so important to have the healthy guys around, because they're literally like your guardians against the bad stuff that comes in, which inevitably will come in. They help ferment indigestible food. So they will break down fiber and then into more usable parts for our body. They influence hormone and neurotransmitter production. So this is huge because, again, that's that direct link between how we feel. Okay, the neurotransmitters, the serotonin, the dopamine, these neurotransmitters that are responsible for feelings of euphoria, they're responsible for making us feel good, or with a lack thereof feeling bad, are influenced by our microbiome and the microbiota. They produce nutrients. The microbiota actually produce nutrients, including vitamin K2 and B vitamins. They also produce, I mentioned earlier, short chain fatty acids, okay, such as butyrate, which will, there's untold benefits of these short chain fatty acids. And basically all the studies that I've looked at say that the more short chain fatty acids produced by your microbiota, the healthier your gut is overall. And then there's specific criteria and how and what healthy like microbiome is, which I mentioned before. But yeah, these short chain fatty acids are amazing. And they're also called postbiotics, which is basically the product, I wouldn't call it waste product, but it's basically the product of your probiotics. Okay, we talked a lot about this in the challenge as well. Health effects of an altered gut microbiome. So ask yourself, do you have any of these symptoms? Impaired immune function. Okay, that just means you get sick on a regular basis, right? You get just compared, okay, I'll compare myself to me. If I meet with, bump into, give a hug to, whatever, touch a sick person, whether they have a common cold, I usually don't get sick. I have a strong immune system. I pretty much never get sick. So I'm not afraid that if someone's like cough or sick or whatever, I'm not afraid I'm gonna get sick because I usually don't. Although I have had COVID. That was horrible. Yeah, was not immune to that. I don't think many of us are. But it can also, so altered microbiome can also increase your susceptibility to infection. So again, like you get a cut on your skin, you know, how likely is your body going to heal itself? Or how likely is it going to get infected, right? And then ask yourself, like, oh, every time I get a cut, it gets infected. That might be the effect of an altered gut microbiome. Or it might be that you didn't wash your hand or whatever. But again, this is just one idea to start thinking to help you figure out what's wrong and how you can get it better. Allergies and autoimmune conditions may be related to an altered microbiome. So seriously, this is something to think about. I have met so many people, and a lot of my students, who come to me with food allergies or allergies of all sorts. And, you know, they're on topical cortisol creams or, you know, doing all these things that the doctors are doing and nothing's helping. Ask yourself, is it because I have an altered microbiome? So is that where I need to focus on? Is that where I need to start? Sometimes food allergies are lifelong and there's nothing we can do about them. But if you've developed an allergy over the years, chances are it's related to decreased functionality of your gut. Increased inflammation, both in the gut and systemically. So again, just increased inflammation in the body in any area could also be the result of this altered gut microbiome. I want to say something specifically about inflammation. I was talking to my sister too. She's having back problems right now. Inflammation, chronic inflammation is at the heart of all chronic disease. If we can reduce the inflammation overall in the body, we can reduce the severity of the symptoms from any disease that we have. How do we reduce inflammation? Through food, diet, of course, exercise, and sleep, all these types of things that you'll learn about in the 21-day gut reset challenge. And you can do your own research too, but inflammation, if you focus on decreasing inflammation, that is an incredible place to start with healing your body, healing your gut, repairing your gut, and healing all the other parts of your body. So basically, how do I reduce inflammation is the question to ask, and you can start there. One thing I can tell you right away that my sister and I are starting to do to give her a hand is every morning we're going to have turmeric tea, and this is fresh turmeric, shredded fresh turmeric. You can also juice the turmeric and store it in the fridge. I like to do like a huge batch all at once and just shred them all and then keep it in the fridge in the jar. So I'm not cutting and getting my fingers orange every day, but that lasts like 3 weeks in the jar. So turmeric, fresh turmeric, a little bit of black pepper to enhance the anti-inflammatory effects of this turmeric, some ginger to also help with gut like lower gut inflammation. Ginger is really, really good for the stomach and the gut. It's been used for thousands of years in Ayurvedic and traditional Chinese medicine for this reason. So that's why that's in there. And then if you really want to, and if you're not 100% on a vegan diet, then I would recommend adding a little bit of honey. But again, look at your source of honey, make sure it's a good source, local, and not from a huge honey farm. And this is an amazing tea to have in the morning to reduce inflammation in the body. You can even add a bit of lavender and then have it at nighttime. And it will help also calm the nervous system to help you prepare for bed. Increased risk of chronic diseases and obesity. So this is clear, and now we know that this is fact, that chronic disease and an unhealthy gut basically is synonymous. If there's any chronic disease in the body, there's a guarantee that there's a gut problem, because a healthy gut, if 90% of your gut has your immune system, if it's healthy, then your immune system is fighting the chronic disease, and you're not, the chronic disease isn't taking over the body. Again, so this is why we start at the gut. It can also age us more rapidly, like looks wise, but also on a cellular level. So literally your cells are dying at a faster pace when the gut microbiota is affected. And then it has been also studied that the gut microbiota in older adults is significantly different, as in significantly worse than young adults. So the older that you get, you also have to actually pay more attention to your microbiome. And this is for various reasons, all the toxic buildup over the lifetime, the decreased production of enzymes as we get older, etc. Can also alter our brain function. So literally, if you're foggy, if you're confused, start at healing the gut. That's the beginning, for sure. Any questions? So this, I wanted to just stop, pause, and see if we have any questions. Wow, for 53 people that signed up to this gut webinar, there's not a lot of people here. But that's okay. People are busy, I understand. And it is Saturday. So yeah, this is your opportunity to ask questions. So what you can do is you can raise your hand and do a little hand if you have a question. Most likely other people might have a similar question, but also take this opportunity to ask specific questions about your health, and don't be shy. There's only 5 of you. Paula, Myra, Karen, Alison, Elvie. Questions?
I have a question.
Okay, Paula, go for it.
Regarding the turmeric, the fresh turmeric, how much do I buy in order to then have like 3 weeks worth, like you said, in the fridge?
Okay. 2 pounds?
Sorry, 2?
2 pounds? Yeah,
2 pounds.
like
okay.
This much.
Okay, thank you.
And then, yeah, shred it. If it's organic, just wash the peel. You can keep the peel on. And actually, okay, how about this? Even quicker and easier and faster, just put it in a food processor and make it into a paste.
Perfect.
And also add like a tiny, tiny pinch of salt. Because remember, you're going to drink it as a tea, so you don't want to have a salty tea. But the salt will help just a little bit preserve the turmeric longer. It will also add minerals. So either add like the Himalayan salt or sea salt.
Okay.
Yeah. And
great.
Again, a subtle amount to the point where you're not going to be tasting salty. You're just going to be adding minerals.
Great. Thank you.
You're welcome. Anyone else? Mayra, did you have any questions? You'll just have to unmute here, or I can ask you to unmute. Yeah. Can you find the unmute button?
Okay.
Yay.
Okay. Yes, I have a very complicated gut problem. I have IBS, and I take the PPIs for 5 years, and they give me a bad complication in my gut to the point I have severe acid reflux 24/7, and my sphincter is not closed. I've been with a naturopath for a year, and she helped what she can with the supplements, but it's not closing. And she say, oh, my gastro, he say he don't recommend surgery because no will help. because apparently I have paresis too. I have severe constipations. I can go 3-4 days, no go to the bathroom. So that's bad. So
Yeah.
I didn't know to this point what I can help.
Okay. Well, definitely take the gut reset challenge. Yeah, it's complicated. It's a complicated scenario and it sucks.
It sucks.
Yeah, like you're not in a good spot, but you're in a good spot because you're here.
Yes.
And now you're learning.
Yes. So I don't, my major problem is there's no closing.
Yes. So
because
it's coming up.
It's 24/7. It depends on what I eat. Sometimes they flare up so bad. Even if I drink water, I had a burning in my chest. It's come to my nose. It is not good, but I'm still here. My naturopath, she has hope. Digo, I will help you. I promise, but it's a year. But I guess take it slow.
Yeah,
Take
absolutely.
Time. Yeah, so it sucks. They think.
Go ahead.
No, sorry.
I was just going to say, have you seen to have you tried doing apple cider vinegar diluted in water in the morning?
She gave me like that, the apple cider vinegar, the raw natural one, before breakfast, and in empty stomach, I will take 1 spoon of that, but like this.
Yeah.
It's raw, you take it. She tried everything. She tried a lot of things, and now she sent me to the orthopath so she can massage it to see if she can adjust whatever is there to help me to close that. Because she says it's no damage. It's not because it's damage. It's because the acid reflux is 24/7. So you swollen.
Okay, I have another idea. I mean, maybe your naturopath has tried this already.
Okay.
Are you taking digestive enzymes with hydrochloric acid?
She gave me bitters. I live in Canada. She gave me Canadian bitters. And I have magnesium because, you know, forgot to the bathroom. Not even that help much because apparently my system works so slow, and they think this is the problem too because my food set in my stomach, fermented, and they give me all this. It's a lot of theories, but nothing. Because because the specialist is I can do nothing. You be careful what you eat. They said he did every test in the book to be sure it's nothing seriously to kill me. But on the other hand, he can do anything. So I will write this down. Digestive Enzymes. I have a book here. I don't want to take too much of your time. So it's other people to have questions. I don't want to be rude.
No, but that's great. I'm so glad you spoke up, and you know your scenario may not be, you know, might not be alone. I mean, you're not alone. You're not alone. So, you know, we all have our various issues, and so you're here now. You're doing exactly what you're supposed to be doing, but you know, this condition, it's developed over many years of your life, and so it may take many years to come back. But stick with it, and it will, you'll get better.
They think it's the PPIs, and I read a lot too, and I know the PPIs when you take it you're supposed to take it only for 8 weeks. My doctor gave me for 5 years, and I don't know any better. I don't know. I think it's okay to take it. They don't say anything until now, and nothing help. It's not because I think, okay, I will take it something that will help me. It's up, but it's no 100%. And I read a lot, and even my family doctor, she agreed, and she said, yes, the PPIs, is harm your gut. So why you give it to me? And she said, that's what we do.
Yeah.
We subscribe things.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I mean, you know, thank goodness there are doctors who can help us, but also they don't have nutrition training. They don't know how to prevent symptoms. They just know how to treat symptoms with medication.
She said to me,
Yeah.
At least she's honest. But I will write down again, what do you say to take enzymes?
Digestive enzymes with
Okay.
HCl. I wrote it in the chat. Yeah, and this, okay, so what this does is, so there, when you have a lot of the gastric reflux, it may be because you have a low stomach acid, like not high stomach acid, but low stomach acid. And it seems so counterintuitive because you think, oh, if there's lots of stomach acid, it comes up, but it's actually the opposite. It's low stomach acid. And so if you have digestive enzymes on an empty stomach, with the digestive enzymes have to also have HCl, which is called hydrochloric acid. This is basically digestive enzymes.
HCO,
HCl.
HCl. My family, my naturopath gave me the marshmallow roots
Yeah,
tablets.
that's to help soothe inflammation. So that's great.
Yes.
Yeah.
It was that. So
But
the
that
other
doesn't-
one is. No, sorry, go ahead.
Oh, no, I was just, yeah, no, I just was going to say the marshmallow will help soothe inflammation, but the HCl helps build your stomach acid. So it can break down your food better.
Okay.
And then have you ever considered like going on a juice cleanse or like juice cleanse, but like a supervised juice cleanse? Because that can also help.
I did for 2 days because I hear about the reset your guts too, but because my acid reflux is no help.
Okay.
Because all juice and the recipes I have for this book is a lot of citrons too. So I have a lot of oh shit.
That's okay.
I have a lot.
Oh, sorry, I can't hear you now. You're not on mute, but I can't hear you. Okay, that's okay. If you come back, please, if we can hear you again, please do share again. But we'll just move on. Thank you so much for sharing your story, Myra. I really appreciate it. And yeah, I really hope that I can help you also. So yeah, I was thinking juice fast, juice cleanse, but supervised just because of there's some conditions. And then even like intermittent fasting would be a very huge help. And that is not eating for 16 hours and only eating within an 8-hour window. So basically stop eating at about between 5 and 7 p.m. in the night, and then don't eat again the next day until like 10, 11 a.m. And that can really help. And then if you take digestive enzymes with HCl, that can help build your hydrochloric acid. I mean, I'm sure if you've been working for the naturopath for a year, I'm sure that you've probably tried some of these things already. But yeah, I'm glad you're here. I'm really glad you're here. I'm glad you're all here because this is the beginning of the gut reset, which is basically, you're going to do it. You're going to reset your gut and you're going to get better. Does anyone else have any questions to ask? And we'll go back to the presentation. Okay, we'll go back to the presentation. Please do, as I mentioned, if yeah, save some questions for the end. Okay, let's go back here. Where were we? Okay, so this is sort of a great little segue into what we were talking about, because the question is now how to have healthy gut. So, okay, we can all agree that yes, we need a healthy gut. It's very important to our body and our overall health, but how? There's the question. Okay, so actually the starting point is cleansing and detoxifying the body. So it is very basic. Why do we cleanse? We cleanse in order to reset our detoxification channels to best help purge toxic buildup in the organs. That happens over a lifetime. When the detox channels are working better, the body will send its energy to break down what's growing out of place. So what I mean by that is basically break down excess calcium buildup if you have arthritis, break down any potential tumor growth if there's a cancer building. Yeah, like real things. Break down bacteria that's causing acid reflux, etc. What are our detox channels? They're the colon, the kidneys, the liver, our blood, our sweat, so perspiration, which is really our skin, our lymph, and breath, which is our lungs. We can cleanse these organs to assist them in functioning properly. to rid them of toxins so they can do a better job for us. However, it's best to cleanse in order for the best possible outcome. Not only do we want to reduce the number of toxins in our body, we want to reduce total body inflammation. So the cleansing in the order is number 1, a colon cleanse, and that's basically what the gut reset is. A parasite cleanse. Okay, this is huge, and I've done a lot of research on this, and yeah, parasites don't just exist in, dirty situations. You can have like the cleanest, nicest, like fanciest environment, and there can still be parasites everywhere. Kidney cleanse after, liver gallbladder cleanse, and a blood cleanse. So kind of in order, and the reason is in order is if you think about your colon as your sewer system, basically, okay, let's hear. This is what I was going to say. 90% of our immune system is in the gut. I mentioned that. It's actually the first organ developed in utero because it's the most important. We need a sewer system before anything else, right? We need a sewer system. If our sewer system is backed up, nothing will work, right? So that's why we start first. And you want to aim for 1 regular bowel movement per meal. So if you eat 3 times a day, you poop 3 times a day. Eat fiber, chew well, green smoothies. That's just very simple. Clean the colon. So how do we do this? Well, a more invasive, quicker way, it would be colon hydrotherapy. There are some contraindications, like you can't be in late stage pregnancy, you can't have diverticulitis or diverticulosis, you can't have colon cancer. But for the majority of the population, colon hydrotherapy is a great way in which to hydrate your colon, hydrate your body, as well as clear out some of the toxins. If you're considering colon hydrotherapy, I definitely would recommend you also take probiotic supplements along, because colon hydrotherapy can clear out some of your good probiotics as well as the bad. It's something to look into. And it's very interesting, but it's very good for you. Maintain the health of the colon. So then again, this is going to be through all the suggestions that I offer. The parasite cleanse. An estimated 90% of our Americans, Canadians, North Americans are dealing with parasites and they don't even know it. And this can cause so many problems in the body. So that's why we just do a parasite cleanse, even if we don't know we have, because we probably do. They grow on your nutrition, meaning they eat your food and they don't give it to you. They steal the nutrition from your food and they eat it instead of giving it to you. They also weaken the immune system. Black walnut hulls, wormwood, and cloves are some of the top 3 strongest parasites. Now you want to aim for a parasite cleanse that kills the larvae, the eggs, and the adults, because I think black walnut and wormwood only kill the adults, but not the eggs, whereas the cloves will kill the eggs. So you need them both at the same time, or else you've killed the adults, but the eggs are just going to hatch and it's just going to keep going. So you want to clean both the eggs and the larva, or the larva and the grown parasites. Next one you'll want to do is a kidney cleanse. Why? Because hard minerals from tap water are a huge culprit. It is one of the biggest health problems we have here in Nicaragua. The water on the island is so hard that there are so many people here with kidney problems. I would say 90% of the islanders have kidney issues, like on a regular basis, to the point where my workers have to take days off because they have kidney issues. They have to go see the doctor. They have kidney stones. Like, it's common. It's like all the time. Like, how is this even a thing? Because of the hard water and the lack of filtration. There's hundreds of natural remedies to cleanse kidneys and kidney stones. So, even all these cleanses that I'm mentioning, they don't have to be a hardcore, crazy cleanse. For example, eating only watermelon for an entire day, including the white rind, minus just the very outer peel, is actually a very great kidney cleanse. So that's easy, right? Eat watermelon for a whole day. Liver gallbladder cleanse. So any metabolic toxins that aren't processed properly by the liver are reabsorbed by the blood. So that's why we want to make sure that the liver and the gallbladder is functioning. You could do there's this thing called the 5-day liver gallbladder cleanse. It's very popular. You can Google that. Dr. Andreas Moritz. It's kind of like basically you're drinking or eating apples, which has malic acid, which soften the kidney stone or the liver stones. Was it the kidney? No, I can't remember. Now I'm confused. Yeah, gallbladder, right? Because gallstones. Yes. So you want to look at that liver gallbladder cleanse, and I highly recommend it. Blood cleanse will be the last one that you're going to focus on. Taking digestive enzymes. Oh, here it is again. These things are good. Between meals, because if you take them during meals, then it's going to digest the food. But if you take it between meals, it can help clean debris. That's a great word. Debris from blood and stimulate immune cells. And as I mentioned, it also breaks down things that are growing out of place. Yeah, so that's why cleansing is really great. We're focusing really just on the colon cleansing for this gut reset challenge. Okay, what are we detoxing from? I probably don't have to tell you, but I have people that I know and friends that I know and students that say, oh, I do detoxes every year, like I'm good. Are you? That's the question. The phrase detox, toxins can take on different meaning depending on who's talking. Toxins fall into two main categories: internal and external. Internal toxins include lactic acid, urea, waste products from the microbes in the gut, and that all occur naturally during natural metabolism. So this is basically toxins that are being created inside the body by a dysbiotic, unbalanced microbiome and other things. Years and years and years of eating poorly, etc. External toxins come from outside the body and are much more controllable. They're introduced by eating, drinking, breathing, or absorbed through the skin. So skin, largest detox organ. Be really cautious of what you put on the skin. Now more than ever, we face countless exposures to external toxins like chemical compounds, environmental pollutants, and this happens on a daily basis, even if we try hard to limit the toxin exposure. In fact, it's estimated to be more than 80,000 chemicals that fall into the category of food additives, food packaging, environmental chemicals that we're exposed to on a daily basis. So even if you're a very clean eater, you're still, like me, I'm still gonna get environmental toxins, whether that be I'm on the motorbike and I'm following a truck that's spewing toxic gas in my face for like 5 minutes before I can pass him. I just have now absorbed all that stuff through my skin. So it's a good thing to consider. Ugh, I hate that. I hate that happens, but it happens here. Yes, and then the skin also, I'm working with a woman who has breast cancer right now, helping her with food and planning. And the more I've been doing about that as well, the more I've been noticing is that multiple studies have shown and proven a correlation between underarm deodorant and breast cancer. The aluminum dioxides, the chemicals in the deodorants are being absorbed by the bloodstream because the underarms and the pores in the underarms are actually one of our most absorbable areas. So whatever we put into our arms or underarms, we're absorbing. And a lot of the breast cancer is actually occurring up here in the tops of the breasts where the lymph nodes are, which is right directly near the armpits, which are pulling in the toxins from the deodorant. So if you can, avoid, just stop using. I mean, luckily I live on a hippie island. Nobody wears deodorant. It's not a big deal. But, you know, if where you're living, also, the more toxic we are, the more stinky we are. This is inevitable. So it's hard because we use deodorant to mask the smell of our underarms, but then we're actually making it worse by keeping our body toxic and we're never going to smell okay. So yeah, is there a way that we can find natural deodorants that work? And I know not a lot of them do, but can we try essential oils? Can we try something else and just not use that chemical stuff that's causing problems? Also bras. I researched the more women who wear bras, the correlation between breast cancer is higher. So I thought that was interesting. It makes sense, like basically tight, and then around the lymph, and then the lymph isn't flowing properly, so it's not detoxing properly. So I found that very interesting. Okay, sterile, modern lifestyle. Are we too clean? This is a good question. All of these things I talked about will alter the microbiome and cause chaos within, including antibiotic use. An average child, this is so crazy to me, an average child is prescribed antibiotics 10 to 20 times by the time they're 18. Antibiotics are often necessary, and yes, they can be life-saving, absolutely, but they're way overprescribed, and their use alters the microbiome, sometimes permanently. The microbiome may never recover from these changes. And this may contribute to increased risk of many diseases. So it's pretty crazy. I feel, this is my, again, personal point of view, antibiotics should only be used in very dire, needed circumstances when they're needed. Also keep cautious of topical antibiotic creams. well, I grew up, we used to use polysporin on everything. We used to put polysporin on cuts, polysporin. Polysporin is an antibiotic. They're literally antibiotics on my cuts, like all throughout my body. Even though I didn't take a lot of antibiotics per se. So yeah, just keep in mind, like the creams that you're putting on the body. My daughter had a skin rash it was just heat rash. Basically, her pores were too small to expel the sweat fats enough, and we're living outside, so she does get dirty. Anyway, she had this heat rash for so long, and the doctors prescribed her antibiotics. It's like, wow, this small child, like, anyways, we didn't give it to her. Okay, antibacterial soaps and cleaners. Okay, now with whole COVID and wow, all the antibacterial and the hyper awareness of cleanliness, my question is, are we doing more harm than good? Is there a balance? Are we going overboard? Can we bring the balance down to be safe and effective, yet not super crazy that we're killing every single bacteria, including all the good stuff? We spend, as a culture, when I say we, I'm not talking about me because I pretty much live outside, but in North America, especially when it's cold, as you mentioned, Paula, it's cold and snowy and gray, we're spending 90% of our time indoors. Okay, so getting outdoors more can help. Aversion to getting dirty, right? I don't want to be dirty, over washing your hands and these things. That actually can be not so good. Lack of beneficial bacteria in the food supply, right? Our over-chemicalized, sterilized food supply. The abundance of beneficial bacteria found in dirt and soil can be affected. So again, do we have sterile soil, or do we have abundant diversity of microbiota in our soil? And then therefore we're eating that when we eat our food. Bacteria is reduced thoroughly with washed or highly processed foods, and we need to detoxify from all this before we can reset the gut. So some more examples of daily toxin. So outdoor air, exhaust, tobacco, smoke, particles from industrial emissions, etc. Indoor air, pollutants from the air, including mold. This is huge. If you have an older house, and you have health issues, look into seeing if there's a mold issue. I've had several friends. I have a friend right now, and even a family friend of mine who was dealing with mold, and a family friend of mine, her whole family actually has health issues and severe health issues, and they discovered a huge mold problem, and they didn't move. And I'm like, can you not see the correlation? The correlation is very apparent. So mold, check and make sure there's no mold. Tobacco smoke, chemicals released from cooking, furniture, carpet, construction materials, etc. Drinking water. So tap contaminated with pesticides, herbicides, and heavy metals, including chemicals from agricultural runoff. So is there a way in which you can filter your drinking water? Food, this is obvious, right? We know because it's the one thing we control that we put into our mouth. So are we eating pesticides foods? Are we eating heavy metals through food, dyes? Are we eating processed foods? No, this at least is our choice. Household products, again, choosing carefully. Food containers, plastic food containers can leach chemicals into your food. So glass is best, mason jars and glass containers are best. Cleaning products, fertilizers, weed killers, bug spray. I also grew up with Roundup. It's like a thing they've used to kill the weeds in our front lawn that I would play in and roll around in. So it's like, oh wow, where's the consciousness? Beauty products, as I mentioned. So skin products, makeup, we already talked about, deodorant, hair products, all these kinds of things. Certain lifestyle characteristics, such as a balanced diet, moderate but regular exercise, avoidance of chronic stress, that's a whole thing. Ingestion of adequate amount of fibers, which I'm going to talk about next, and the use of well-defined and specific pre and post probiotics have been shown to have a positive effect on gut health overall. Okay, I'll just mention this really quickly. Gut bacteria and the brain. Again, I said already, but it's true. Science is confirmed. There is something now called the gut-brain axis, and it's the enteric nervous system. The gut's also been called our second brain because it affects our real brain and like our moods and everything so much. And then so the central nervous system and the gut are directly connected to the vagus nerve. Bacteria in our gut affects our mind and our emotions. That's big. So, when there's all this talk about mental health, take care of your mental health, take care of your gut health, and it will take care of your mental health automatically. Because when you say take care of your mental health, well, what does that mean? Like, what do I actually do? If I'm depressed, if I'm anxious, what do I actually do? Well, I got to heal my gut. So that's where we start. Probiotics and gut health. So probiotics, they may be beneficial for some conditions such as irritable bowel syndrome. So hopefully you're taking probiotics. Inflammatory bowel disease, Crohn's disease, ulcerative colitis, diarrhea, and constipation, as an example. But potential adverse effects, wow, you might be confused. Like, I thought probiotics were great. They are great, but if you're immunocompromised, definitely seek medical professional. But keep in mind that medical professionals usually don't actually have the training. So you're really seeking someone that has the training on this probiotic gut health that is also a medical professional. Yeah, and also don't be afraid to change healthcare providers. If you don't resonate with what they're sharing with you, change healthcare providers, because some people follow the advice of their doctor, but really in their gut, they know deep down, they have a feeling, this isn't right. This doesn't feel right to me. This doesn't resonate with me, but we go with it anyways because they're a doctor and they're supposed to know. But remember what they've trained. They're just a person like me and you who were trained for very many of years in something very specifically called diagnose, find out what the issue is, and then prescribe the drug. That's what doctors do. That's what their job is. That's what they're supposed to do. They can also help with surgeries and things, but they are not nutritionists. They don't know about prevention. They don't know about nutrition. They don't know. They haven't studied, unless they're a very specific doctor who has gone outside of its doctor training to study nutrition. And a lot of times naturopathic doctors do study nutrition because they're naturopathic, they're holistic, but they don't study enough still. And they're still also, they still also prescribe. Okay, why to choose and how to choose a probiotic. Even the best probiotics may not make it to the gut intact. This is another issue. If you're buying expensive probiotics and they're not even reaching your gut, this is an issue. So there are 4 things that you can do to sort of make sure that happens. Number 1, buy from a reliable source. Usually you'll want your probiotics to be in the fridge wherever you buy them, and you want to keep them in the fridge because they're alive. And when they're out of the fridge, they can grow and do all kinds of things. But when they're in the fridge, they're on ice. Literally, they're chilling. They're not moving. They're not active. They're not doing much. They're just hanging out, and so they're ready to do their work when you eat them. But if they're on the shelf, they may be not as effective. Compare CFUs, which is colony forming units. So this can be like 10,000 or 50 million, 50 billion colony forming units. So obviously the higher, usually the better, but then the price is affected. Keep refrigerated to maximize shelf life. I mentioned that, and use before the expiration date. That's also important because they do expire for sure. You can make your own probiotics by making kimchi, making coconut yogurt, cashew cheese, these types of things. So you can actually take the probiotics and expand the lifespan of these probiotics by so much. By using a little bit, create a lot. So that's what I do with my cashew cheese. I take a little bit of the probiotic capsule, I put it in my cashew cheese, and these probiotics grow. And so I'm literally quadrupling or making 10 times more probiotics from that first one. Food in the microbiome. Obviously, this is the thing that is going to be the most powerful, and it can have the quickest change. Dietary changes can significantly alter the microbiome within 24 hours. The gut microbiome impacts nutrition absorption and production. I said that a couple times, but I'm saying it again. Nutritional deficiencies from poor diet and altered microbiome are affected by food. Decreased absorption, decreased production of microbiota, okay, and decreased absorption of minerals. Feed your flora with fiber. That is the best thing. Gut bacteria eat and ferment fiber, so that is their food. So probiotics eat fiber. Those fibers are their prebiotics, essentially. So if you ever heard of the term prebiotics is essentially fiber, soluble and insoluble fiber, and whole plant foods are sources of fiber. So there has been an association between a high fiber diet and a reduced risk of obesity, heart disease, and cancer, and all other types of disease. Basically, the more fiber you eat, the stronger your microbiome, the stronger your immune system. Now, keep this in mind. Some people will say, oh, I can't eat vegetables. I can't eat raw vegetables. It's too hard on my digestive system. Maybe right now because you have a damaged gut. The damaged gut can't handle all the fiber. So you start slow. And that's why the green smoothie is so great, because you're breaking it down into its smallest fibrous components. It's easier for the body to digest, absorb, and use. So yeah, there's people that are very extreme and they either go all in or go nothing. So you can start from unhealthy to salads every day for sure. But I recommend starting with the green smoothie and then increasing your fiber as time goes. Because you don't want to eat some big salad, then feel like crap, then say I can't eat fiber, and then stop eating fiber altogether. Also, just as a comparison, animal products have zero fiber, zero. Okay, let's talk about poop. 15% of the US population experiences chronic constipation, which can result in a altered microbiome. Dietary factors are a huge consideration, obviously. Fiber, water, lifestyle factors, physical activity, stress, and even toilet posture. So this is something very interesting. This might help you, Myra. Actually, everybody, we can all do this. We can all tomorrow, actually today, after we get off this call, we're going to go and find a little stool and we're going to put it under our toilet. When we raise our, I wish I could show you actually, we could raise our legs up, it straightens out our rectum, and it actually makes it easier for us to poop. Squatting is a more natural position, and all over the world, like the Western world is like the only people who sit on the toilet. In Korea and India and all these places, people squat to poop, and there's a thing called the squatty potty. Which is essentially even just a hole in the floor. So there's no actual toilet. South Korea, I remember I moved there, I lived there for 4 years, and I would go into like a public restroom and there's no actual toilet. It's just like a urinal type thing, hole on the ground, and you stand over top of it and squat, and that's the way. It helps give greater hip flexion. So it actually helps your body and your movability. Again, like I said, straighter rectoanal canal, which is easier elimination. Squatting may also reduce the risk of constipation, hemorrhoids, and diverticulosis because you don't have to push as hard, right? The hemorrhoids, these things are caused by like pressure and pushing. You shouldn't have to push to go to the bathroom. It should just come out naturally. This is where we're all aiming to get one day. Fiber, your gut's best friend. So eat types of fiber include fermentable fiber. So this is prebiotics. So which also includes soluble fiber and resistant starch. So things like onions, oats, nuts, apples, fruits, vegetables. Resistant starch are unripe bananas. Now you don't have to do like full on green, super green, but like slightly unripe are okay. And here in the tropics, they cook platano, like plantain. And that's a resistant starch, although they deep fry it in oil. So they just ruined it completely. Unripe bananas, oats, beans, cooked and cooled starches. So over the years, I've shifted my diet from 100% raw to about 80% raw. And I do eat cooked beans. I find that cooked legumes and will actually do help me a lot with fiber, and they do have a lot of nutrition. So I don't particularly eat 100% raw. But I do find, and I still believe, that a raw foods diet is one of the most healing diets to help people reverse chronic conditions. Non-fermentable fibers, which will increase the bulk in your stool, which is insoluble fiber. Basically, your body can't break it down. So this includes whole grains, nuts, fruits, and certain vegetables, just like certain vegetables for soluble fiber. Most plant foods contain a combination of both, okay? Soluble and insoluble. Some bowel conditions may require the restriction of fermentable fiber, okay? But that, again, is something more specific for your own personal needs, so take a look at that. Remember that 90% of your cells, I can't even read that, 90% of your cells are, what? I can't read it, it says screen sharing. Make sure you're feeding them, okay? Make sure you are feeding your bacteria. Make sure if you're feeding, so how to do this: eat more plants, which is like fiber, in a greater quantity and a greater variety. And again, if you can't do that right away, if you can't manage to chew that huge salad, blend, blend, blend. And when I say green smoothie, it doesn't even have to have any fruit in it. It can be a savory green smoothie or a soup, really. Like a classic, really delicious, very amazing high fiber soup is like a gazpacho made with tomato, red peppers, cucumbers, and then maybe you'll add like a handful of sunflower seeds, maybe some garlic, maybe some salt. And this is an amazing soup. So it doesn't have to always be a green smoothie. It doesn't always have to be sweet. Also, the lower the sweeter. Like you want it to be sweet enough that it tastes delicious when you drink it, but you don't want it so sweet that it's too sweet. So if you're a person who likes sweetness, make it less sweet than normal. If you're a person who doesn't eat so much sweetness, then you can probably have a bit of it sweet, like a banana or two. Okay, this is a great tip to start as well, is aim for consuming at least 30 different plant species per week. I've even, a guy I follow, Dr. B, Dr. Will Bulsiewicz, he's written a book called Fiber Fueled. It's excellent. Yeah, I love him. I love the way how he is. Hope to meet him one day. So yeah, he says 40 different plant species per week. And that could actually include things like cumin, cilantro, so herbs. If you think of just about, like, 5 leafy greens, 5 vegetables, 5 fruits, 5 herbs, that's 30. Well, maybe that's not 30, but you would see it's not actually as much as you think it is. Limit your intake of highly processed foods. This is difficult. Try your best. Fermented foods, so including sauerkraut, kimchi, miso, tempeh, these types of things in your diet will give your body probiotics, which we talked about how important they are. Yeah, and if you take the 21-day gut challenge, I'll teach you how to make these things. Whole plant foods, vegetables, fruits, whole grains, nuts, seeds, etc. Herbs and spices, garlic, turmeric, ginger. I mentioned, right? I already mentioned those. Garlic is a medicine. Turmeric, ginger, anti-inflammatory, really good for the gut. Cinnamon, oregano, rosemary, etc. So Myra, I think something that would really help you as well is the turmeric, ginger, black pepper. Maybe even don't drink the black pepper in it because of the acid reflux, but the turmeric and the ginger in a soft amount, like not strong, but a soft amount that could maybe help you. Try that. Okay, so some reset tips. I'm repeating myself because I really just want you to remember this stuff. I can't tell you how important eating a whole place diet that includes the fiber is. 30 plants each week. You can screenshot this if you want. This is kind of like your checklist. And so I mentioned all those diet things, lifestyle. So this is another thing. It's not just about the diet. It's also your lifestyle. It's also the stress that you have in your life. If you're so stressed, you actually can't digest food at all, period. Because stress and digest just doesn't work at the same time. So you can be eating the best 500 different species of plants each week, but if you're stressed, yeah, I can feel it too. Sometimes when I'm stressed, I get like a ball top of my stomach. Incorporate stress management practices into your daily routine. Engage in a regular physical activity that looks different for all people, whatever you want. Spend more time outdoors. Correct circadian rhythm disruption meaning sleep better or get on a routine of sleeping. Consider squatting instead of sitting when you go to the toilet. Okay, so this concludes our webinar for the day. But of course, I really would love to invite you to join the 21-day gut reset challenge. It's 50% off right now. We start April 1st. If you go onto the website, you go to pachavega.com, you find the 21-day gut reset challenge. You put in the discount code gut health now 50. You'll notice that there's 2 options. There's a guided option and a self-paced option. Make sure you sign up for the guided option because that's the one where you get to meet with me once a week for 21 days, which is actually ends up being 4 times. We meet on day 1, on day 7, day 14, and day 21. And then that's where you can really ask me questions about the challenge, ask me questions about the recipes, ask me questions that anything. Share your story with me, share your successes with the group, etc. The self-paced option, which you could also get 50% off if you put that in, but that's just you're doing it on your own. So either or, they're different in price. But really, for $100, 21 days, it's pretty amazing. So here's what we're doing. Week 1, it focuses on removing and replacing. So basically, we're removing the stuff that no longer serves you and replacing it with the good stuff. You are, and these are the topics we cover. You are what you absorb, common signs and symptoms of gut issues, how inflammation affects the body, like on a cellular level, eliminating problem foods, our digestive system and the microbiome, which we touched on a bit today, and detoxification and intermittent fasting and what that looks like and how to do it. We also are going to be doing a 24-hour water fast for the first day of the challenge. So like on April 5 p.m. March 31st until 5 p.m. April 1st, we're not eating anything. We're only drinking water. So that's something to prepare for mentally, for sure. Now, week 2 is repair and repopulate. So activating your detox organs. So how to actually like activate those organs to be able to help process your toxins better, which include also moving, daily moving. Fiber, why it's important, so more about that. Our immune system, the role of pre, pro, and postbiotics in the gut. So more specifically on exactly what those are. Food, mood, cravings, and food sensitivities and how that's all related. Mental health and stress. And number 3 is rebuild and revitalize. So eating the rainbow and changing up that rainbow, right? The variety. Meditation, how it can actually help your gut microbiome. It seems strange to connect those two, but it really works. Sleep, skin health, supportive supplements if you need extra support, which of course are going to include digestive enzymes. And mindful eating, which basically is eating without talking and eating without swallowing prematurely. So chewing your food like until it's nothing, until it's a mush, and then swallowing. And also like getting to know the backstory of like where your food comes from, getting to connect a bit more with your food, getting to appreciate a little bit more your food, and like, wow, all the farmers. Living in Nicaragua has shown me a lot, and I have become very, very hyper aware how hard the people work here for the bananas that they ship to Canada. You know, it's like, wow, for then the amount of money that they make, it's just crazy. So all food has these stories. If it's not grown in your backyard, right? There's a backstory to every food. So yeah, learning to connect with that backstory also gives you so much more gratitude, and gratitude can change everything. So that was also included in the 21 Day Gut Reset Challenge. So yeah, that's all I have to share with you for today. But yeah, if you want to ask any questions, I'm going to take a look right now and see if we can connect with some of this. Yeah, so those of you dealing with pre-diabetes, diabetes, gut issues, this makes sense. It's like, remember, the gut is first and then every other symptom comes after. So the diabetes is actually coming after because the gut has already been compromised a long time ago. So let's start at the gut, and who knows, maybe the pre-diabetes goes away, right? This is ideal. I fully believe that that's possible. Fully believe it's possible, especially if it's a diabetes that's been developed over time through food, through lifestyle. I fully believe that it's possible. And here I'll give you, so LV, there's a video, a movie that you can watch online for free. Well, I can't remember the name of it now. It's it was taking a case study test of a group of people and putting them on a raw foods, whole foods, raw vegan diet for 30 days, and literally they all cured their diabetes. Cured, like literally cured, off the medication, off the insulin, completely cured, except the one guy who had diabetes from type 1 diabetes from birth. He reduced his medication intake by 15/16, but he wasn't able to completely go off of it. But this is different because it's a whole different thing. So that gives you some potentially some good news. So yes, where do you start to improve? You take the Gut Reset Challenge, and then you'll learn everything you need to know. You're welcome. So different recipes, yes, because that's another question. Will there be different recipes? Not so much, because that would just be, it's an insane amount of work for me to do. But I have updated the It's All About the Sauce book, and I've included 6 new sauces, which I'm going to rotate through. So eventually, yes, the reset challenge will be different. It will feel different because there will be these 6 new sauces, which will make it taste different, but there'll be some repetition. The videos are the same. I didn't re-record all those videos. Yeah, so it's kind of the same, but with new sauces and a new menu rotation. Flaxseed. I say flax a lot. Yes, I mean flaxseed. Flaxseed. So yes, flaxseed, that's what I'm meaning. Flax and flaxseed ground and whole are also both excellent for your gut. Alternating flax and chia is excellent idea. Whole seeds is excellent. And I love the idea that you're alternating, because even if something's very good for your health, if you eat it every single day, you will develop a sensitivity, which is not what we want, because our bodies, our guts, our microbiome is designed for variety. If we eat one thing all the time, we're lessening our variety, and then we're getting issues. So even if flax is a good thing, too much flax can actually not be a good thing. So just variety. Whole or ground, both, either or, a mix of half. If your blender doesn't break down the whole seeds, if even they break them a little bit, that's totally fine. Or a spice grinder, that works. Also, you can find spice grinder. You can find like these types of things at thrift stores for really cheap. Oh, Karen, yes, Karen, she did the gut reset challenge last year and she loved it. And now she's taking my course online. I'm really happy that you're joining us there. So that's awesome. Let's see. Questions. Yeah, you'll have to purchase so if you want to do the reset gut challenge again, you'll have to purchase it again, but it's 50% off. So yes, awesome. Well, I just want to say thank you very much for you all being here today. I appreciate the time that you spent with me. I know it's already been an hour and a half of me talking. But yeah, please do sign up to the Gut Reset Challenge. We start April 1st. It's only $105 with your discount. And it could be the best $105 you spend your whole life, because it could pretty much change everything. I fully believe it. Sometimes people pay, thousands and thousands of dollars for personal coaches. Well, you literally have me as your personal coach at least 4 times while we're doing this challenge. And then if you love the challenge and you see what you love, then you're also invited to join my raw food chef certification online, which some of you are already in, which is great. And this is my main sort of offering. It's fully comprehensive and one of the best and most comprehensive actually in the world online raw food chef training. And I am so grateful and blessed because I just keep getting great reviews, and I keep getting the students coming back and telling me how much it's improved their lives and enhanced their lives. And even one of my students, Shannon, she's now using a lot of the stuff she learned in the raw food chef certification course in her own practice. She's created her own business. I actually helped her design her logo, which is part of the raw food chef certification course. At the very end, it's a bonus. I help you get started with your business logo and everything. It's like over and above what I should probably be offering, but I really just want you to graduate and then start your business. Because a lot of people, they go to school, they take this comprehensive training, and then now where do they go? Right? I'm helping you actually start your business before you're even done the course. That's what you want to do, of course, because some people just take the course for themselves. Anyways, that's the offering. So thank you so much for joining me, and I hope you have a lovely day. If you have any questions whatsoever, feel free to reach out to me via email or reply to any of the emails that you do get through the newsletter, because they just go directly to my inbox anyways. And yeah, and I hope to see you on the Gut Reset Challenge in April. So have a lovely day. Thanks.